I'm such an emotional slob. Everybody knows that. I mean, I cry when the phone bill comes, so that was tough. But it's an honor for me to be here tonight because I've been pushing for this for a long time. Me and his loyal friend Al O'Neill and a host of others all said, let's do this, while Bob is still here. I hate things like these posthumous ones where people can't be here for this because it's always more fun and it's better when they are. But to get this here in this magnificent setting at this wonderful hotel and this great facility is special. And so we're real happy that we could all be here. And so many of Bob's friends and family could be here as well. When it was announced that he was going to get this award, he called Carol and said, Carol, I'm honored that you're going to bestow this on me, but I'm afraid I can't be there. I have a radio show to do. And I said, that won't fly. And but he did. He flew up here today after he did his radio show from 9 to 11 this morning on WNZK in Detroit. So I'm just real happy he could make it. He and his son Rob and a host of other family members. Sadly, his wife suffered a bit of a leg problem issue. We don't call them problems anymore. An issue, and she unfortunately couldn't be here today. But we're videotaping this, and she'll get that. He has been doing a show called Ask Your Neighbor, believe it or not, for 57 years. It started on WWJ in Detroit, the oldest radio station in Michigan and the oldest radio station in the country. If you're not from Pittsburgh and believe that KDKA has that honor. But we'll give it to WWJ because they're hometown brew. And so he does have an exceedingly loyal listener base on 690, a really big signal in the Detroit area. He's also remembered for a show called Bowling for Dollars. Anybody remember that? That was on Channel 4. Yeah, great show. And that was on Channel 4, WWJ TV, which is now local for WDIV, home of clickondetroit.com. Do I get at least a golf shirt for that, Marla? No. Anyway, so, and then the show actually came back in color on WADL, Channel 38, but that didn't last too long, but it was a great comeback. This guy from LaPorte, Indiana, is also remembered by a lot of baby boomers as the Twin Pines Milkman. Remember that? Milky the Clown Party Time on television. He's been a member of countless charitable organizations, unquestionably the longest-running broadcaster in his mid-80s. God bless him. He's most deserving of this accolade, and I am indeed proud and very pleased to be able to present to you the newest member of the Michigan Association of Broadcasters, Broadcasters Hall of Fame, Bob Allison. And we're both wearing the same tie, a great tie. Come on up here, Robert. There you go.
Thank you very much, Art. And thank you. I'm absolutely honored to be the broadcaster of whatever. I really never have worried about those kind of things, but I've been in the broadcasting business a long time. Actually, it's been about almost 70 years that I have been in this business. It was back in 1950 that I started my first radio program. I graduated from high school in 1950, and I went down to the radio station and said I'd like a job. And the broadcaster's manager said, "What experience do you have?" And I said, "Really none." He said, "Why the hell would you want to come in here and ask me for a job when you don't have any experience?" And I looked him at the eye and I said, "Because I'm better than anybody you have on the air." He said, "I want to hear this." So he took me over to a studio and he handed me a bunch of commercials and newscasts and things, and he said, read that. And I did. I read it for him. And he said, come back to my office. He said, he was shaking his head. He said, I'll be damned. He said, you're better than anybody I've got on the air. He said, you're hired. And I got $1 an hour. That's a long time ago, of course. On the other hand, I have gone much further from there. And I'm glad to be here now to be honored as the Broadcaster of the Year. And I have been in the broadcasting business in so many different ways. I wish that, Ask Your Neighbor, started back in 1962. And we're still doing that, except that in the last 20 years, well, let me put it this way. I got out of the broadcasting business back in the middle 50s because, I was wondering if I could be a musician. I wanted to be a jazz piano player. And I decided when I was drafted into the Korean War, and when I got out of the Korean War, I said to my wife, I said, I think I'd like to be a musician. I want to go to LA and see if I can play piano. And everybody said, you're crazy, you don't even read music. And I said, well, you don't have to read it to play it, I was a jazz piano player. So I went out to LA, and what the hell would you think? I was able to make a living. Not a lot of money, mind you, but a living. And I sent for my wife and I brought her out to LA, and what do you think she did? She got pregnant. Well, that got me back into the broadcasting business. I came back to Indiana and became a broadcaster again, but on that kid that got me out of the music business is now doing my radio show with me, Ask Your Neighbor, and he's been with me for the last 20 years, Robert Jr. Rob is over here. Stand up and take a, yeah, okay. He does the radio show. Although I have a couple of my other boys with me, John and Bill. Stand up, kids. Okay. I have 3 wonderful boys. Anyway, we do Ask Your Neighbor every day. And matter of fact, if all goes well, I'll be on there tomorrow morning. I hope. It depends on what time we get home tonight. At any rate, I have gone on in the broadcasting business and done a lot of things. And maybe most of you remember me mostly as the host of Bowling for Dollars or the Twine Pens milkman on Milky's Party Time. But I have a face for radio. So, and Ask Your Neighbor has been my show for, a long 57 years. That's not a record, now you understand, but it's a hell of an average. And I don't know if it's the longest. I think I'm the oldest radio show in Detroit under the same original host. At any rate, I thank you very much for allowing me to assume this very wonderful honor. And it's been a wonderful thing to be with you tonight. Thank you.